What is going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Fantasy Stand, where we yet again are getting another draft before the start of the NFL regular season. This is Monday. We are up in here again on this draft. Gonna go ahead, PPR, same format. One quarterback, three wide receivers, two running backs, one tight end, one flex, six bench with the defense and kicker, who we will always draft at the end. We're going to go ahead and randomize this 3 times, and then what we will be doing is more than likely drafting at least 2 or 3 times with different strategies in mind. So I'm going to go in here and randomize it. We're going to go 1, 2, and 3. All right, 3. Number 6, right there in the middle of the pack. We'll go ahead, go, and get this started. Interesting to see this week the ADPs of who may be rising and falling. I'm going to go ahead and right here with us being number 6. I mean, to me, it's choosing my guy, Amon-Ra. We could go and see how this draft would go. But you know what? With Bijan Robinson right there, I have been testing, obviously, going that running back route first and then just seeing wide receiver who can be there. Or, heck, even right here, going the kind of essential superhero RB and just kind of go these 3 rounds and try and get Isaiah Pacheco as our RB3. But right here, I am going to go the Bijan Robinson route, come back in, get our champion wide receiver. At least is how I would personally do it. Because even looking here, as we come back to the running backs, oh, dang. Well, I guess you got Pacheco, A-Chain, Derrick Henry still there in the ranks. Devontae Adams would be my number 1 pick here, at least for wide receiver wise, to anchor that position. You're kind of going down, seeing how Isaiah Pacheco is there. I do want to end a balance, especially with this being a 3 wide receiver build. So I'm going to go ahead and see how this goes. And is Pacheco still there? Pacheco's still there. We lost out on some running backs, but surprisingly, Rachaad White was the one that went as we lost A-Chain and Derrick Henry. Go ahead, check this draft board. Just want to see how most people started. The 101 started running back, quarterback. And they were actually one of 3 teams to start running back. So that has been the norm. Obviously, starting out this draft, as a lot of people are now taking the 2 top running backs, with Kyren Williams being 100% healthy. He obviously is rising up in ADP. Travis Etienne a little bit in that second round. Surprised he at least went before A-Chain and Henry. But here, honestly, if we're filling out, a lot of people want to make sure their running backs are protected, or at least that running back position. I'm going to go ahead and see this build here of going the top 2 running backs of Bijan Robinson and Isaiah Pacheco. Would love that as my RB1, RB2. Knowing what we know here in round 5 or round 6, I believe. I think round 5 is when we have been having to smash the Zamir White pick, just because his ADP has been rising. Would, of course, love him as an RB3. If we do wait on that position, there are other running backs I think could possibly fall to us. Brian Robinson, perhaps, would be a great RB3. Would just be consistent, essentially just fill in that flex role, and he will get the touchdowns in that offense. There's some other playmakers here. Alvin Kamara, of course, getting older, has the contract situation as well. I believe, still there, but we'll see how that shakes out. Kenneth Walker right now is actually the only running back that doesn't necessarily have the question marks. Ramondre Stevenson is bouncing back, but they paid him. Aaron Jones, of course, people have question marks. I believe Ty Chandler is going to take that. James Conner, I believe more in Trey Benson, who I am targeting later on. And you have David Montgomery, who, yes, will get some touchdowns, but you have Jahmyr Gibbs there in that role. So as you look from those remaining running backs, Zamir White is the younger back who is primed to take over more of that role. Alexander Madison is the only one behind him. So he is at least who we are hoping falls to us in round 5. With that saying in round 5, and honestly, we need Maybe to get some Trey McBride's there, Dalton Kincaid. With us going running back, maybe we wait on the tight end position. Still there's like this tier right here, this tier 3 that's still going to be pretty good at that position. Hoping, heck, even George Kittle could possibly fall. Kyle Pitts hasn't fallen lately, where this could be that last chance. It's a new offense, and he could essentially take that jump. Oh, man. Quarterbacks, Anthony Richardson. If there was someone like a Patrick Mahomes, like a Jalen Hurts there, we would highly consider. Anthony Richardson, of course, as long as he stays healthy, will be a league winner. However, key thing there is staying healthy. CJ Stroud, he does have all the weapons, not necessarily a mobile quarterback or that dual threat. Kyler Murray is essentially that dual threat we are targeting. Essentially with Dak Prescott, maybe we can fall. He's that tier who statistically wise should be good throughout the season. So just kind of looking at the options here, Trey McBride is enticing. Can he take that year 2 jump? Marvin Harrison Jr. is there though, so obviously there's that other target in town. Normally I would not consider Cooper Kupp, but the only reason I am considering Cooper Kupp is with the fact that the news is he's all the way back, and with Puka Nacua having that knee injury, that could, hamper him, of course, early on, even throughout the entire season, should he come back a little bit too early. So Cooper Kupp is enticing here. That's just to give a shot, on essentially who you think your guy is going to be. But how we are playing this and knowing that I am going to have to upspin for Zamir White in the 5th, I'm going to go ahead and get a wide receiver. I'm going to get a wide receiver who I like here. Obviously there's DK Metcalf. I guess you could, there's just a lot of question marks here. Devontae Smith, people love him, but guess what? He's the wide receiver too. Cooper Kupp, technically the wide receiver too, but could take over this year. DK Metcalf is DK Metcalf. Essentially having Devontae Adams in him wouldn't be bad, especially knowing that he could put up 40 against the number 1 defense. Malik Neighbors, exciting young rookie. However, there is Daniel Jones there. Do we really trust him? And then kind of looking, the only other one I would upspend on, who I believe is going to be the alpha, is George Pickens there. So there are some options. There's some other wide receivers kind of here later on we could also fill our spot with in case we do miss out. But if I'm choosing here, this is tough because honestly it would be between Cooper Kupp, DK Metcalf, or George Pickens. It's like, which exciting offense do you like more? Malik Neighbors in consideration, but it is the Giants. So it's like, do you like the Pittsburgh offense, the Giants offense, the Seattle offense, or the LA Rams offense? And that honestly could be a deal breaker, or not necessarily a deal breaker, but a tiebreaker. What offense do you want to be tied to? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and take the Cooper Kupp, him just kind of trending upward. If he's all the way back, and look at that, we have George Pickens there, number 3. The only problem with that is there are still some other wide receivers here that we could do number 3. Oh, Ladd McConkey's injured. He's going through something. He's working through something. That's never exciting news. But Keon Coleman is obviously someone who we would love as our wide receiver 3, or who I would feel comfortable going into that wide receiver 3 role. So looking in here, you see the running backs that are kind of available. There are 3 teams that don't have running backs that essentially are going to have 2 chances to choose who they want. So this is where I'm saying if you really want Zamir White, you're going to have to take him possibly in the 5th. Because look at that running back run. Only 3 went. There's still David Montgomery. There's still, DeAndre Swift. But, that dude's bounced around. Looking here, the only other one I would really give consideration to is Raheem Mostert. I think he's still going to get those touchdown opportunities there. Brian Robinson, still a possibility to fall. And the fact that we have 3 running backs and can sort of wait to possibly see if Jonathan Brooks falls to us. Trey Benson is someone who I would love as an RB4, knowing that we can essentially wait on him. But looking here at the strong wide receiver threes, there's Kyler Murray, who we thought was the human joystick, and still is. So you know what? I'm actually gonna go. I'll go Kyler here. Right now, we miss out on a couple of tight ends, but it was very smart because after we took Kyler, Joe Burrow goes, Dak Prescott goes. Could Dak Prescott possibly fall into us in the seventh? Maybe, but I'd much rather have someone like Kyler Murray there. And look at this here. Raheem Mostert still available in the seventh. Brian Robinson still available in the seventh. DeAndre Swift, Najee Harris, Jalen Warren. It's like which back is going to take it. Wide receiver wise, I'm looking here. I want to take the one I want, but I believe I can wait until the eighth round. Tight end wise, wow, George Kittle is still there. I think it's dumb not to get George Kittle. Well, actually, looking at the wide receivers, it's like there's Jaden Reed there, who is exciting, could take the year two jump. There's Hollywood Brown, the veteran. DeAndre Hopkins, unfortunately, has the knee injury. Jackson Smith and Jigba, is he the wide receiver 3? Is he the wide receiver 2? There's still three-headed monster there. Jordan Addison, just don't believe in him this year. Lad McConkey, I mean, honestly, would have been maybe somewhat of a smash pick. I would take a chance on two young rookies of Lad McConkey and Keon Coleman. The fact that Lad McConkey is now dealing with something that's somewhat concerning. There is another exciting rookie in Xavier Worthy. However, Keon Coleman, very surprising. He is still rated so low in these wide receiver rankings. It's baffling to me. So we could honestly take one of these guys and hope that Keon Coleman falls to us. Like I said, I'm 100% comfortable if Keon Coleman was our wide receiver 3. So I'm going to look here in the tight ends. Even though there are some exciting ones, man, it's so hard. Yeah, because that's so true. If you value week to week consistency, George Kittle just isn't that guy. But he's gonna put up some monster weeks. Man, 10-5 in fantasy last season. Be a good bet for a top 5 positional fantasy finish. Just realize it might not always be a smooth trip. I agree. That's going to be tough. Because right now we do have a chance at filling out our wide receiver core, kind of hanging out or waiting for the tight end position a little bit. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to go ahead. I'll take the shot. Jaden Reed. Man, that's so hard because it's a four-headed monster. And Romeo Dobbs is cheaper later. Oh, well, I actually meant to just hop on Hollywood Brown. Uh, but we'll take a shot with the young rookie. There we go. Pick number 8, round number 8, and Raheem Mostert goes before us. That would have been crazy exciting to have him there. And heck, that actually would have known if had we gone Keon Coleman as our wide receiver 3, still possibly get Raheem Mostert there. Lad McConkey is still there. Keon Coleman is there. Tight end wise, Jake Ferguson. Running back wise, Brian Robinson. Well, this is tough. I'm going to make sure to get the guy I want in Keon Coleman because I really don't want to wait. Or, yeah, here until round 9. Or hope that he falls until round 9. He'll, of course, be a reach alert. But as you can see, there is a whole wide receiver run that happens in this kind of round here, 8-9 round, that there's a good chance that, I mean, you look at the other guys here, much rather take him over Jackson Smith. Ladd McConkey's the only one in consideration, but now he's dealing with an injury. Would take him over Joshua Palmer, take him over Addison, take him over Worthy. Jonathan Brooks, we're sad we miss out, but Zach Moss and Cortland Sutton, of course, would take him over. So just kind of looking there, we now have 4 wide receivers, 3 running backs. We're kind of missing just our tight end to fill that spot. Jake Ferguson is there. Just kind of looking here in the running backs, good chance Trey Benson misses out, but I want Trey Benson on my squad, so I am doing what I can here in round 8 or in round 9, 10 to make sure he ends up on our team. After us, you see Austin Eckler there, who's the 1B, may not get those touchdowns to Brian Robinson. Jerome Ford, who is the RB1, could be pretty solid as long as he stays healthy. Chase Brown, another one who's getting some top buzz. Nick Chubb, who's not going to be back for a while. Gus Edwards, who is coming back from injury. Ezekiel Elliott, like I said, will get you 30 yards, maybe a touchdown or 2. And backup Tyler Algier. So go ahead, look at this team. This was us filling it, going running back first, then Devontae Adams to get our wide receiver champion. Isaiah Pacheco fell to us in the 3rd. Then we came back with Cooper Kupp. Obviously, my wide receiver here, Hollywood Brown. Guess what, guys? It happens sometimes in real life draft. You try to click on somebody or queue him up, and then you actually end up drafting him. But we'll go ahead and take a shot on the veteran. There's enough highlights that'll kind of get me excited. Here we have our flex and Zamir White. Keon Coleman as our first wide receiver bench. Trey Benson as our RB4. And I like the fact that we're just somewhat we just need to fill out our bench. Tight end available. I mean, you look at the running backs. There's no one here that can kind of give you some value. Chuba Hubbard for a little bit. Rico Dowdle, who is battling, actually, Ezekiel Elliott for some more touches. Like I said, Zeke's going to get you 30 yards. You're going to need someone to get you those others. Tyler Lockett is I think could provide some value here, though. I think Jake Ferguson's just going to be pretty solid. I mean, looking on how that went, we could have waited on Ferguson and gotten Tyler Lockett, as Njoku was the only one who went. And yeah, I mean, we could have gave a shot at the exciting rookie in Brock Bowers. Dallas Goedert, I mean, he's not going to catch a lot of touchdowns. Pat Freiermuth may see his role expand and explode this year. And Dalton Schultz, that's kind of the cutoff there. Cole Kmet, Luke Musgrave, those are some wild cards. And then after that, it gets real dicey, guys. But as we come in here, we're just going to fill out our roster. Rashid Shaheed dealing with hamstring injury, tightness. Hamstring injuries aren't always the best of news. Coming here, there's some exciting rookies that I like. Jalen Polk, Xavier Legette. What happened with him, though? His foot? Day-to-day. Okay, it's foot. Okay, it's not a muscle. Or I guess, probably is. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. Don't come after me. Romeo Doubs, possible there. Quarterbacks available. Jaden Daniels was here. Would love to be able to have him, pair him up with Kyler Murray. Running back wise, though, Rico Dowdle. I'll go ahead, just add this running back to my roster. You never know. Just kind of looking, miss out on Rashid Shaheed, Romeo Doubs. Those are the only ones really that we were in consideration of taking. Looking here, Jahan Dotson, will he bounce back? I like Jalen Polk. I'm going to go ahead and take him here, hoping Xavier Legette still is there, and he is. So, quarterback, we have a full roster. Let me go ahead, get the other wide receiver I like. Adam Thielen is there. However, I want to take a chance on the exciting rookie in Xavier Legette. He is dealing with that foot injury, but we'll go ahead and take a chance. Quarterback-wise, coming back here, Jared Goff still available. I will back up my quarterback with Jared Goff. And then now we are down to our last 2 picks, and we'll see how this draft did, going with the running back selection first in Bijan Robinson. Choosing our defense, Buffalo Bills. Choose our kicker. And we'll stick to the Bills. and we got to see. Man, I really don't know. Like, is it the players they don't like? Is it mostly Devonte? I mean, I guess a lot of people hate Devonte Adams. So, I mean, I will say my wide receivers aren't the number one. I would love Devonte Adams as my number two. Say Amon Ra, then Devonte. That'd be pretty nice. But quarterback Kyler Murray, running backs Bijan Robinson and Isaiah Pacheco. Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that all day. Tight end Jake Ferguson, he's going to be somewhat consistent, get you a touchdown or two. Zamir White, who I would love as my RB2. I would take as my RB1 if I decided to go and hammer wide receivers earlier because there's just no one at that running back position there that I found a value. But after that, guys, Keon Coleman, who is going to be Josh Allen's wide receiver one, Trey Benson, who will be the RB1 there once James Conner breaks down. We chose Rico Dowdle just because he was the last running back available that is actually fighting for that, for those reps or playing time. So I think we made great decisions there. We finished off with two exciting rookies in Jalen Polk, who's getting a lot of work with the ones, Xavier Legette, who other than that foot injury, it will be a top dog. And then capping off with Jared Goff, who is going to be pretty solid and consistent this year. So 75 out of 100, I'll take it, guys. I mean, you look at here, this is actually one of those ones we actually have normally one person who's at least higher 80s. But I'll take two 80s here. Projected standings are always fun, but not if it's going to load. No need for that. But I'm going to come in here, guys. We'll go back to the draft settings. Pick number 6. So that was the first draft. Obviously, I wasn't mad at that roster. I'll take that roster. The key thing is making sure that you have a strong, solid core because during the season, it's going to be a whole different story. People are going to get injured. You have to pivot. Make sure to know when to add and drop. Here, pick 8, Justin Jefferson, Bijan Robinson, Breece Hall, A.J. Brown, Garrett Wilson. Well, Justin Jefferson, even though he is the best wide receiver, he has a lot of red flags this year. Bijan Robinson, again, we can go that route, essentially maybe punt the second RB. Or instead of Isaiah Pacheco, we could just go a couple of wide receivers and see how that plays out. Breece Hall as well, A.J. Brown. You know what? If I'm going to switch this up, So we'll test wide receiver first. See who possibly falls. And right here, Devontae Adams has normally been falling. Or who is at least there for us to pick. If he is not there, even though Chris Olave is there, Drake London, honestly, I would choose Mike Evans over them. Nico Collins could be exciting, but still, three-headed monster there. What running backs are available? There's Isaiah Pacheco. There's Devon Achane. So what I am doing here is was hoping to do the strategy of going the two wide receivers and seeing who possibly falls there running back wise. And of course, none of the running backs that I like. This is why it always gets dicey when you want to sort of punt the position. So what I have been somewhat doing is instead of going wide receiver, which I'll go back and test that. Right now, I don't know. I guess I can maybe do that the next one. We'll test this wide receiver one. And then after that, I'll go wide receiver and then get my running back champion because I really think Isaiah Pacheco is going to be great. If Kyren Williams is there, I'll go ahead and take Kyren. But we decided to go the wide receiver route. And obviously right now there are no running backs I necessarily like. Yes, there is Rachaad White, but with it being a new offense, will he take essentially that jump? We could do our wide receiver 3 here of Mike Evans and just be stout at that position. The thing that stinks about that is there are still other wide receivers who are going to be available in the next round that we're still going to like. There's still going to be George Pickens, I believe, there in round 4. There will be, of course, Keon Coleman, would love to have as our wide receiver 4. But you are looking at guys, I mean, yeah, James Cook going to get the yards, but the touchdowns are the question mark. Joe Mixon, is he still dealing with that injury? You know what, guys? Oh, man. Because it could go with someone like him. Gonna test it. See who's available. I may run through this, guys. Running backs available. Still having Kamara, Joe Mixon. I mean, Kenneth Walker. All guys that could be the RB1 in this build where we got arguably one of the top quarterbacks. We're strong at the wide receiver position. Tight end wise, there is Mark Andrews, where this is where round 5 is actually when I've been getting Mark Andrews. I'm kind of hoping how we're doing this with Keon Coleman being the wide receiver 3. Okay, let me test this. Let me go Mark Andrews here because I know Zamir White is going to have to be in round 5. Wide receiver, there's George Pickens, and that's the thing where that stinks is we're just going to miss out on being able to still add George Pickens. Very interesting though. See, they are saying that Zamir White is less than 1%. Where are we on the board? That's the thing. With so many picks being this far away. Like I said, there's one team that doesn't even have, or no, they have James Cook. Okay, so there is a chance that he falls on Zamir White, miss out on George Pickens. Running back, I'll go ahead and take who I want to take when I said I was going to take him. And the thing here too is knowing that it's very weird. I don't know if it was just that string of drafts of why Zamir White just kept going in the 5th. But knowing that at least he would have been there in the 6th, or I guess not knowing. But love George Pickens there in the 3rd. Let's go wide receiver. But instead of that leaves us with a top or another starting wide receiver in Terry McLaurin, who has a young, exciting rookie quarterback tied to him, who I would love to be able to have as a backup should he, fall. He's either it's weird. He's either going in the 8th or like around this time, 7th, 8th round, or he falls to the 11th or 12th. And you're just like, Jaden Daniels is still there? Look at these, though. Rashee Rice still available. Hollywood Brown, Jaden Reed, Ladd McConkey, Keon Coleman still there, which it's baffling to me. But honestly, we actually need to get our running backs just kind of looking. Ramondre Stevenson, Raheem Mostert. I've been loving Raheem Mostert and kind of pairing Zamir White and Raheem Mostert to be those two running backs. Of course, it's dicey. Ramondre Stevenson is there. But the explosiveness of Ramondre. We are in round 8. Keon Coleman has a shot at going, but we need the running backs, and I want Brian Robinson Jr. We're going to see if Keon Coleman, and he doesn't. So that's why, at least in our formula, we know that the two guys that you really want, at least for me, have been Zamir White and Keon Coleman. Know that Zamir White, you may have to spend up in the 5th, and Keon Coleman, you're going to have to smash in the 8th. His ADP is for sure rising. You hear the press conferences with Josh Allen. He's got the rapport. And here's the thing. Had we waited on Brian Robinson, yes, we miss out on a solid 3rd running back, but we have the chance. And honestly, everyone here has the upside, essentially. Maybe not Devin Singletary, but Tajay Spears, positive talks of him being able to just take more of that workload there other than Tony Pollard. Devin Singletary, who is the RB1. Chase Brown, who a lot of excitement. People were talking about him being the going to be the RB1 there. Jerome Ford, who is the RB1 in Cleveland, especially with Deontay Foreman getting hurt. Trey Benson, who will be the RB1 when James Conner breaks down. So there really are a lot of guys that do have some upside. Obviously, you will have to hit on them. And it's just the chances are you have a better shot at finding probably the next Puka Nacua than, the next top RB later on in the draft. So that's why I'm taking a shot at some of those young rookie wide receivers later on, and why I would give a great shot at Keon Coleman. All right, we're going to come in here. We're in the 9th round. I'll go ahead and start blowing through this because we already have our quarterback, already have our tight end, 3 wide receivers, 3 running backs. Starting to be a little balanced. There are some wide receivers we are kind of missing out, some excitement. Brian Thomas Jr., big body, 6'4". Brian Thomas Jr. is interesting, another exciting rookie. Tyler Lockett, is Tyler Lockett still the same Tyler Lockett? Has Jackson Smith-Njigba, jumped him? Jameson Williams, will he exactly take that jump? Gonna look running back wise here because, like I said, we need that help. Honestly, if I'm looking for who I want and who I know is going to be the for sure thing later on, I have been doing Trey Benson here as my 4th running back. And you can see the run. I believe he would have gone over Zach Charbonnet. Jerome Ford's still there. That seems to me like a smash play. We miss out on Brian Thomas Jr., but you have to take the value there with Jerome Ford of an RB1 landing right there at round 10, which now a lot of these ADPs are rising. Just looking now at our running back board, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All great upside, I feel, throughout this year. We have 3 wide receivers. We need to start adding on to that position. Let me go ahead and look at the team. Obviously, 4 bench spots. We have everyone else filled. Let's go ahead and start doing this. And hey, guys, look at that. Jaden Daniels there. Like I said, he's either going in the 8th, 9th, or 7th, 8th, and 8th, or he's going falling here to the 11th. And honestly, I'm going to go ahead and take him just with the value. He has a shot at being something special. Oh, look at that. We missed out on Jalen Polk. Jalen Polk is rising in ADP as well. Let's go look at these running backs. Rico Dowdle is the only one that provides some value for me. Jahan Dotson. Where's Xavier Legette? He's still down there. Tight ends. There's Brock Bowers. We can go ahead and essentially have him on our team. Could he be the Sam Laporta 2.0? That's a great question. I'm looking at the wide receivers. We could go Jahan Dotson. Just see if he bounces back, and we have this stack with Jaden Daniels, but at the same time, this isn't necessarily best ball. So I'm going to take a shot at Jaden Daniels. They're going to say it's a steal. After all that, the last 2 tight ends in this tier 3 are the only ones I would take in consideration. Wide receiver wise, we are just filling out our bench here. Adam Thielen, Gabe Davis, Dontavian Wicks, Rashad Bateman, Xavier Legette. I'm going to go here just to see if Xavier Legette will fall. I'll take the excitement talks of Rashad Bateman. Xavier Legette still there? No, he went. Yep. Look at that. Right after. Man, look at that. Especially when you think they're going to fall. They will not fall. So went Rashad Bateman over Xavier Legette. Ended up missing out on him. Jermaine Burton is there. Interesting, though. There's a lot of leaves practice as precaution. There's another 3rd wide receiver there. I believe getting some traction. He has a weird name. Gabe Davis in Jacksonville. I mean, he's really the only one that can maybe provide some value, just being that veteran. Running backs wise, no one really here to take. Could take Alexander Madison if you really want to back up Zamir White. If this was best ball, I believe we should go that route. Wide receiver wise, I mean, we can just go ahead and take best value. There's Troy Franklin. We'll see what Gabe Davis can do, and if anything, we have a drop candidate for week 1, week 2. Should he not do anything? We are down to our last 2 picks, defense and kicker as always. Pittsburgh. Let's get our kicker after this. And we got another C, 74. So, first draft, got the 75. We went Bijan and then got our wide receiver champion, Devontae Adams. This one here, we decided to go wide receiver, get A.J. Brown, Devontae Adams. Then kind of spend up on Jalen Hurts and Mark Andrews, those onesie positions. Get those surefire picks, those ones you know are going to be top 3, top 5 in their position. Like I said, I would be ecstatic with Zamir White as my RB2. Would love it as him as a flex RB3. However, I'm very comfortable having him as my RB1. We're taking some chances here with Raheem Mostert, making sure that as he gets older, he's still hopefully going to get the touchdowns there. Brian Robinson, who is the 1A to the 1B of Austin Eckler, who will get the touchdowns there. Dre Benson will become the workhorse when James Conner breaks down, and Jerome Ford, who is the RB1 right now. So, as you go through your schedule, I'm confident with this. Jaden Daniels is a backup quarterback. Got a young, exciting rookie in Brock Bowers. I mean, you have trade potential. You have drop candidates in Gabe Davis, Rashad Bateman, with them being the wide receiver 2s, wide receiver 3s, on those depth charts. So, another fantasy draft. Look at that. Derek Brown, 88. Thanks, Derek. Thanks for giving me that B+. Andrew Erickson, you should be ashamed of yourself. I bet you don't even use books when it's an open book test. But we'll take the 74. All right, we're going to come in here, try to do one more draft. And this one, I'm going to go ahead and split the strategy. So, obviously, I love getting my wide receiver champion first. And our wide receiver champion is right there in Amon-Ra St. Brown at pick number 6. So I'm going to go ahead and pick him at pick number 6. This is where it gets a little tough. I'm looking at the running backs available, and really, I mean, A-Chain, Pacheco, ETN, ETN and them he has his question marks, of course, for sure. I'm going to go ahead and choose who I want. And that's Isaiah Pacheco. And look at this. We have A-Chain who still fought. As much, guys, as I would go another wide receiver or someone here, you do not pass up that value. And, as I'm just going to look through here real quick. Some tight ends. There's Trey McBride. There's Mark Andrews at the quarterbacks. There's Lamar Jackson. Man. Some exciting wide receivers. Guys, sometimes the draft just falls how you want it to. And that's honestly not a bad start. For me, I would love this. I got the wide receiver I wanted. I'd start. Oh, wow. Fantasy Pros, they now have the trending. I like that. Like I said, Zamir White, round 5. Round 4 is just interesting because it's either do you want to anchor your team with a quarterback like Lamar Jackson, who is just a human joystick. Gonna do it. Man, sometimes the draft just falls the way you want it. George Pickens as our 2. I will say, when George Pickens there as the 2, because I believe he is just going to be the alpha, and I just want to make sure that I anchor that position. The one position we missed out on right there was just Mark Andrews. Obviously, could have went Mark Andrews and had that stack throughout the year, and essentially just work on filling out our wide receivers, which right here you have Deontay Johnson, Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk, who will be a PPR monster. But we're going to go ahead and start filling out this roster here. Knowing that we missed out on Mark Andrews, on Trey McBride, on Dalton Kincaid, means we can essentially wait a little bit on the position. You can give a shot at Evan Ingram, the PPR monster. Kyle Pitts, will he bounce back? George Kittle's going to give you those bounce back games. Jake Ferguson's going to be somewhat consistent in that Cowboys offense, or you're just going to want the Dallas tight end in that offense. And then some exciting ones in that other tier of Njoku, Brock Bowers. Obviously, can he be Sam Laporta 2.0? Teams, we already have our wide receiver 2, so we don't necessarily need to spend up on Kirk, Deontay Johnson, Calvin Ridley, especially if you have question marks. You know, we are hoping Keon Coleman lands to us later on. Going to look here at the running backs, and lo and behold, guys, guess what? We did not go Zamir White, round 5. And since we didn't go Zamir White, round 5, we missed out on him. Because that's where he's going. Even though it's saying you're reaching, anything like that, Zamir White, round 5. We took a chance on hoping he would fall and taking the wide receiver we wanted there in round 5, purely because we already have 2 running backs in Isaiah Pacheco and Achane, and we are essentially just filling out our flex position, which right here, guys, there's still Ramondre Stevenson available, David Montgomery, which honestly, Ramondre Stevenson would probably be the top pick, knowing that they paid him the money. You know, they even brought in Antonio Gibson and they still paid him the money. Round 7, looking here, wide receivers. Like I said, I would love to have Keon Coleman as my wide receiver 3. I would feel comfortable with it. That's who I'm hoping falls. And so we went ahead and just got the best running back that was there available, and that was Raheem Mostert. There's still a couple of other ones. We miss out on Jonathan Brooks and Brian Robinson, but still some other guys that we like. I'm going to go ahead get the wide receiver that I like and love. I don't care if it's a reach, Fantasy Pros. You'll see. Rome Odunze, exciting. I mean, however, is he the wide receiver 3? And do you want the wide receiver 3? Jayden Daniels still there in the 9th. Looking up here at the running backs available. 1, 2, 3, 4. We already have our 4, but like I said, still want who I want in Trey Benson. 64% he'll go. Obviously, we're going to look up here. A lot of running backs that seem to have gone on this one. So what I'm going to do... Two, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Oh, you know what? Tight end wise, yep. I'm going to go ahead and get old reliable and Jake Ferguson. Slight reach. Oh, Trey Benson right there in the beginning. I knew it, guys. You try to play the ADP game and doesn't fall that way. Miss out on him. However, Trey Benson would have been our 5th running back, which, of course, still would have been awesome. Looking at the tight ends, still available. David Njoku, Brock Bowers. Would have loved any of them. Wide receivers, we miss out. No one really. Maybe Roma Dunze, the exciting rookie. However, another exciting rookie in Brian Thomas Jr. is still there. Running backs available. Only Zach Charbonnet, Chuba Hubbard, who will have some slight value. However, yep, that's the thing. You just missed out. And I guess if you are going to put that tight end position, go ahead and wait till round 10. Yeah, if you don't take anyone round 5, go ahead and wait till round 10 and go ahead and choose your guys. Because, man, that actually is a bummer. I just would love to have this roster filled out, obviously, with that 5th running back of Trey Benson, just to have. It's going to be that shiny piece that would sit on the roster until someone would pay the farm to get him off mine. Exciting rookie. Like I said, there's either Brian Thomas Jr. or Jameson Williams. Going to take a shot at Jameson Williams here. He is the veteran. He is fully healthy. Brian Thomas Jr. goes there. Rashid Shaheed, Josh Downs, Chuba Hubbard, who will have that value early on. Here's some other wide receivers still available that may have some value. Romeo Doubs, obviously. Another exciting rookie in Jalen Polk. Running back wise, Antonio Gibson. I mean, I guess I could, have him on there if I really wanted to. Take David Njoku. Just value at that position. I mean, I'm just filling out depth pieces right here, right now. Get Jalen Polk. Slight reach. That's okay. Hey, look, Xavier Legette, though, right after. I'm telling you, these guys are rising. Gonna look in here. This was the third draft, so we are just gonna be finishing this up here. We'll just check. Oh, Jane Daniels, still available. Really? I mean, that is just value. Yes, please. Steal 70 picks after his ranking. Wow. All right, what else we got? Just one more. Let's go see in the rankings. Running backs wise, don't think there's anyone we really need or would want. Wide receiver wise, I'm looking at here. Only one really has of any value would be Rashad Bateman. Marvin Mims, I think I've heard possible taking a jump. That is true, though. They did draft Troy Franklin, who has also been going up my boards. Malachi Corley, someone I've been also keeping an eye on as well. Let me tell you, though, Malachi Corley, guys, keep an eye on him. Here, going to take the bounce back in the veteran. Rashad Bateman. These are mocks. Could definitely start switching, the players up, I guess, just to see. But if I was in consideration there, I'm going to take guys who I feel are going to be those winners. So, another C76. Hey, highest one, guys. And this is the one we went Amon-Ra St. Brown and then chose our RB champion in Isaiah Pacheco. And heck, even got Devon Achane. So, I have no idea what these guys want. We got one of the top wide receivers who will be a league winner and 2 running backs who are set to dominate this season. Alpha and George Pickens, last year's MVP and Lamar Jackson. Jake Ferguson isn't necessarily the sexiest pick, but we are taking a chance here on Keon Coleman as well. But I highly believe he will be Josh Allen's number 1. After that, looking at the bench, in the flex, also Ramondre Stevenson. So pretty solid there. And then on the bench, Raheem Mostert. I mean, we missed out on a couple of guys because we thought we were going to play the ADP game, and lo and behold, I guess we were probably drafting against my freaking other drafts because, yeah, we just ended up getting sniped by some of our guys. So, other than the bench, Raheem Mostert, Jameson Williams, who could take that jump, David Njoku, who could interchange with Jake Ferguson and provide some value, Jalen Polk, who's getting reps with the wide receiver ones, Jaden Daniels, who's going to be that exciting dual threat to pair with Lamar Jackson. The only thing there is I think they have the same week 14 bye. However, in redraft, that's something you shouldn't worry about. You can find a filler in there if you really need on the bench. In best ball may have been a deal breaker. However, just to have that upside in Jane Daniels is exciting. And then, of course, Rashad Bateman, which, hey, we have Lamar Jackson. Maybe if he does take that jump, he'll of course be a nice pair. So 76 there. Hey, Andrew Erickson. Hey, look at that. You like this squad. 91. Derek Brown hates this squad. Derek Brown said, I don't like last year's MVP. Derek Brown said, I don't like Isaiah Pacheco adding passing to his game. Or Devin Achane taking a leap from last year, which I don't think he can necessarily take a leap. It's just more being consistent. I don't know. Derek Brown hates his squad. Andrew Erickson, thank you for the redemption. There you go. You kick me down and then you pat me on the back and lift me back up. Appreciate that. Well, guys, I appreciate you following along. That is actually nice to actually see a green grade on here. But that was 3 different drafts, different somewhat strategies from the 6th spot. We went Bijan with the first pick. Second one, man, I got to actually go back and see who we went. A.J. Brown and Devontae Adams started that wide receiver with the 3 wide receiver sets that I normally draft in. And then here, where we got our wide receiver champion in Amon-Ra St. Brown falling to us, and then getting our RB champion in who we believed in Isaiah Pacheco. Honestly, I believe Devon Achane, is higher than Pacheco on the rankings, and he fell to us in the 3rd. And when that value is there, you just have to smash that play. So I like this roster. I would roll with this roster. I believe it would strike some fear, when you see this and you're like, man, I gotta go against freaking Pacheco, Achane, Amon-Ra, George Pickens. Keon Coleman's gonna excite, but I really appreciate you guys following along again, guys. Another fantasy drafts here with the Fantasy Stand. Gonna be doing this until the start of the NFL season. Heck, whenever I get my own personal fantasy drafts locked and set, I will maybe share those with you as well, just so you can see that a lot of these guys that we've been targeting here in our mock drafts are guys I'm going to be targeting in my real drafts here at home and that I'm going to be in. So I really appreciate you guys following along. Definitely hope you got some good insight here. We will be back tomorrow, and appreciate it again, guys. Y'all take care, and we'll see you then.